Another day, another brand new Minecraft update. This week around in the world of Minecraft, the water has been updated. Again. This is odd. This throws us back to a change that I thought was made in 1.21.120 update that released last week. This change had to do with the lighting here when underneath the water. Essentially, previously on Bedrock Edition, every single block of water would take the lighting down by 2. So if the sky here is 15, then this would go down to 13, then this would go down to 11, and so on. That would lead to even small bodies of water that aren't that deep like a river, having a light level of 0 on the bottom pretty quickly, and therefore being able to spawn a chocolate ton of drowned all over the water. Look, maybe I missed something. I'm a clown, a fool, the full circus, but I thought this update was already in the game. I guess this week, maybe it's like doubly into the game, or there was a bug or something. No matter what the heck is going on with it, it seems that it will be fully releasing for sure this time, alongside the amounts of mayhem drop. It's going to make finding drowned, specifically ones with trident, a little bit trickier, so if you haven't pulled this off in your survival world quite yet, now is definitely your last chance, probably maybe, to go out and find a trident drowned. Whoa, baby, but that's not the only water update in this week's preview, because this one is a pretty big one. Kelp is now going to... well, you can kind of tell here. If you've ever swam through your local forest of kelp, then you will know that this right here is completely different. And oh my gosh, I actually found dithering that is like coming in clutch. Hey, now I want to interrupt here real quick to remind you, smash that like button and subscribe. If you enjoy these update videos, well, great news. I'm cooking them up for you all the time. Minecraft's in this new era, and yeah, you probably noticed, updates are coming out quicker than they ever have before. Inside of this week's preview, the dithering toggle gets a little bit stronger, and this time it's something that 100% I agree with. I love it. When we move into kelp, it will now dither away, basically becoming invisible, making it way easier for you to see, especially when swimming through a kelp forest in survival Minecraft or in third person, whatever. The kelp will actually fade out of view when it gets right in front of the camera. Now, as a little reminder, if this isn't working for you, it's probably because you have dithering turned off. This is going to be block dithering specifically. Unfortunately, I really wish there was a way to individually adjust what you wanted to dither and what you wanted to not dither, because if you turn that on, then cool things like stained glass will completely disappear from view. It'd be super nice here if this dithering thing, instead you tap on it and it opens up a whole menu, then you have every single thing that you could flick on or off, depending on what you want to dither and not. But wait, there's more! Over here inside of the cold ocean biome now, as you can clearly tell because it looks entirely different than the other ocean, yeah. Bro, dude, they need to make the oceans look way more unique. Regardless here, though, inside of the cold ocean, things are going to look even more empty than they already looked, because we have the removal of a mob from the spawning inside of this biome. The dolphin. It's gone. They killed. Yeah, inside of the cold ocean biome, dolphins will no longer be able to spawn. That leaves, like, small fish and squid. It's a surprising amount of water updates that have come to the game inside of this preview. Ooh, next up here, we gotta take a look at Minecraft's newest skeleton, the Parched. Inside of this week's round of updates, the Parched has a new functionality. Kind of. If you are able to find a Parched inside of your world and somehow move it over to the freezing cold biome, look, I'll be honest, I don't know how you got one all the way out to this freezing cold place to begin with, but go you. Well, if you're able to pull that off and you put one inside of a frozen snow, give it a little bit of time, it will indeed begin to freeze. Now, interestingly here, once this thing freezes, keep doing your thing any minute to now. Aha! Once this thing freezes, instead of converting over to a stray or anything, it just leaves the world. That's a little weird. I don't think we've ever had any kind of skeleton conversion, but this is definitely the best opportunity ever to be able to have that going on. Next up here, something I didn't even consider about this update, peaceful difficulty. With peaceful difficulty turned on in the dead of night here, you will actually be able to find zombie horses spawning at nighttime. And this time, when they spawn at nighttime here, there will be no hostile riders with a spear or anything like that. It's literally just a zombie horse. And actually here, because no other hostile mobs are taking up the mob spawning cap, the zombie horse is going to spawn pretty frequently here inside of the plains biome savanna biome at nighttime. Oh my gosh, this is like, maybe it's cheating, but you flip your difficulty to peaceful, find yourself a zombie horse at nighttime, tame it, and then you easily find yourself like 7 more zombie horses too. That is like the plains biome. That got me wondering about the desert biome and the camel husk. How the heck can we find one of these things? And unfortunately, at least from my brief testing here, it's nowhere near as common as the zombie horse. In fact, if I'm being honest, I don't know if it's even possible on peaceful difficulty. As you can see here from wandering around inside of the desert, no camel husks are spawning at all. So, I guess if you play on peaceful, this update is basically nothing. Oh man, now the big star of the show of this update on Java in the snapshot this week, you remember it, is that beautiful netherite. Wait, hold on a minute. That looks completely different. So on Bedrock Edition, the icon, like the item itself, yeah, that's exactly the same. But our actual netherite horse armor. The netherite horse armor on Bedrock Edition, alongside horses seemingly being much easier to tame on Bedrock, netherite horse armor is a completely different texture, and dare I say, a much better looking netherite texture on Bedrock Edition as well. That's clean. So hopping over to Java Edition here, latest snapshot, the netherite horse armor is way more like basically plain gray and clean, not as much pixel work going on here. I mean, yeah, we do still have that really bright orange and yellow saddle, so that's pretty fire looking. But if you can't spot the difference, look right at the horse's chest. Bam! Inside of Bedrock Edition on the preview, look at all of those lines. That's an entirely different texture. It's way more busy and way more sturdy looking, if you will. Now, statistically speaking, the netherite horse armor should be exactly the same otherwise as it is on Java. It just seems that on Java, they didn't even add a new texture to the horse armor. They just put horse armor in the game. It's odd. I wonder what this is all about, and I hope it gets fixed. Oh, man. Now, I was thinking about it, and it's been a long time. In fact, maybe one of the longest times ever that we have not had a full solid block or block set implemented into the game. Our most recent addition now of a fully solid, like a normal square block here, is going to be resin bricks that was implemented in snapshots and previews over a year ago. This absence of blocks for a long time has been quite puzzling, a little bit confusing, but at last, maybe they're on the cusp of adding a whole lot more. Tucked inside of the technical updates of this week's Bedrock preview, we have the revelation that the custom blocks on Bedrock Edition, they are now just about fully finished, I believe, and ready for a big release in this next update. Now, this will throw us back to a dev conference that they did earlier this year where they revealed that they were working on making it so you could add more custom blocks, unique things, and something that they called full wood set functionality to custom blocks, meaning for custom block sets in the game, you could add not only a unique new block that looks different, but things that are a little bit more advanced with a unique shape, like a staircase or a slab, or heck, even walls, fences, and maybe even things like doors, you know, things that you can actually interact with. This has been a process that seems to have been going on for like pretty much the entire year on Bedrock Edition and is now finally concluding. As always, I gotta send a big shout out to the legend Smokey Stack here for some exact examples. Over on Twitter, shortly after the preview dropped, the Smokey Stack got to work. Here, Smokey was showing off that custom staircases are definitely possible inside of Bedrock Edition now. Now, the texture that Smokey used is just a little placeholder, but you can see that we are cleanly walking up staircases without any jumping needed at all. The other one, again, placeholder texture, fences are now fully possible as custom blocks on Bedrock too. On top of that, we can get even crazier with slopes. Now, this one here, it's not as placeholder of a texture. Instead, we have the dirt slope block, and things actually slide down it. Oh my god. For the most part here, this seems to be pretty much solved, smoothed out, and kind of perfect. Now, this here dives me into a little bit of theory. With Mojang working on, for the full year, making it easier to add block sets to the game, perhaps this is why they paused the implementation of more new block sets. I mean, look, if you think about it for a second, if they are working on overhauling the entire code relating to adding things like staircases, walls, slabs to the game, what sense would it make for the developers to continue to add more of them while they are in the middle of working on all of the stuff that has to do with that exactly and making it easier? Instead, you see, it would make a little bit more sense to lay the groundwork down, get it polished and smooth, and then maybe in the next update here, come back swinging with expanded block sets, and hopefully even more new blocks added to the game as well. Look, at this point, it's a theory, exactly that, but looking at what Mojang has done in the past, they lay the groundwork for creators and then take advantage of it in their own vanilla game updates and content. I'd bet on more block sets coming to the game pretty soon, and maybe them being some of the most advanced yet. Another big one that we talked all about in the snapshot video, so check that one out if you want to take a look at it even more. The zombie nautilus, the warm ocean variant, has made its way over to Bedrock Edition. It's exactly the same. It's beautiful looking. I love this thing. The texture is so perfect. Ah, man, gosh, I really wish that I could breed them and get a miniature version of these things because that looks so sick. And with vibrant visuals swimming around in here, getting up close and personal with this thing, with the water textures bouncing off of this thing, oh man, it just looks even better. But interestingly, for Bedrock Edition, that's not the only Nautilus update that we have this week around. No. Instead, the Nautilus, our friend here, if we're on it, we will now actually have a Nautilus inventory that we can access. And this Nautilus inventory is going to work exactly the same for every Nautilus in the game. If a Nautilus doesn't have a saddle but is tamed and you interact with it with an empty hand, the inventory will actually be pulled up here. Now it's going to keep swimming and moving, so if the dude gets too far away, the inventory will automatically close. But yeah, you could actually interact with this thing and maybe equip some armor just like that, maybe interact with this thing and throw a saddle on it like that. Or while you're riding this thing around inside of your world, you need to take that stuff back. Well, you hit your inventory key and you will actually get the inventory of the Nautilus and you can take everything off of it. This is an intriguing change here. I don't really fully understand it, but I'm not going to complain at the same time because it is nice, I guess. Makes it a little bit more consistent with the other mobs that already have an inventory. Whoa, you can jump way higher, it feels like, on Bedrock. Dude, I mean that, or I'm just better at driving it on Bedrock. It might be that, but that's actually insane. I could literally fly with this thing on Bedrock. What the? Oh-wee. Now, surprisingly, inside of this update, for some reason, we have more mayhem being added to the game that didn't happen on Java. The developers have gone ahead and added more jockey functionality to the game. Now, this one is a little bit tricky to check out. From all of my testing, you know how it is. A zombie jockey spawning into the game? Well, at least to my knowledge, on Bedrock Edition, there's not really a way to force it to be able to happen. Instead, I will have to basically wait around for a zombie to spawn as a baby, and then on top of that, decide to spawn as a jockey. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me. I would never lie. But jockeys can now actually exist as all of these different versions of mobs. Or at least if a baby zombie is a jockey, it'll be able to jump on any of these things and use it as a vehicle. Something like an ocelot, a sheep, a mushroom, and of course a baby zombie jumping on any of the rideable mobs already. No thank you. Man, I wish I knew of a way to, like, be able to control this jockey spawning here because I can't figure it out. It's something about specifically a zombie spawning and then jumping on an ocelot, using that as a weapon of war. Dude, I just want to see the baby zombie jump on an ocelot and attack me. And last but not least today, I want to talk about a full update that is actually out now. With one of the sickest numbering names ever, 1.21.121. This is a hotfix update that is released for Bedrock Edition, the full update. Inside of this update, we basically just have a bunch of various bug fixes going on, but if you are having problems with your camera snapping around and going weird, or random memory leaking happening inside of your game, hopefully it should be a little bit better now. More jockeys, that is absolutely a nightmare. Oh my gosh. Mojang, why did you do this? Thank you all so much for watching. On the end card will be a playlist with more videos. Next up, check out the snapshot video if you haven't yet because, wow, this update is big. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Adios.